Welcome to the Where Did You Go to High School podcast. It's the most iconic conversation starter in St. Louis. We're your hosts. I'm Anna Feckner, and this is Elaine Brewer. Two best friends from the 314 turning this classic STL icebreaker into a podcast. So, Elaine, who do we have today as our first guest?
We have our good buddy, Keith Van Gels. He is a lifelong hockey player whose story has taken him from the local ice rinks to the global hockey community. Keith grew up playing with the AAA Amateur Blues and spent a season with Bowling Green State University before getting his degree in strategic communications from Mizzou, where he is the driving force behind the Beer Hockey League Players Association, helping grow adult hockey through grassroots and international events. He also debuted his feature film, Hockey Journey, in 2020 and is more popularly known as the Great Kane Van Gate 38. He has built a loyal and hilarious following in the hockey world. Keith works as a goalie coach. He is also a St. Louis-based actor, balancing hockey, creative projects, and family life. He's a husband, a father, and lovingly known as Uncle Hockey by his niece and nephews. Today, we're talking about his St. Louis roots, the culture of beer league hockey, and how the game continues to shape his life. Keith, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me. What an
Thank you for
introduction.
coming. She's good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel legit after that.
Yeah.
She writes a
I'm
good
ready to
bio.
go.
I
Yeah.
know. You said it was the nicest thing anyone's ever said to you.
That's probably a fact. Yeah.
Anna, why don't you kick off the question everybody wants to know?
I mean, it's the icebreaker question that we've all grown up with and have been asked a million times and probably have used a million times ourselves. Keith, where did you go to high school?
I went to Chaminade College Prep, as we like
Yeah.
to say.
Yep.
And what was the mascot of? There was some controversy around
So it is the
mascot,
Red
wasn't it?
Devil.
Okay.
But I can't remember when. I think it was the 80s. They switched to the Flyers, the Chaminade Flyers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when I was in middle school, or no, my 8th or 9th grade, I don't remember. Maybe I was a freshman. We switched back to the Red Devils.
Okay.
And that was like a big victory for us. We thought it was so cool.
It is cool.
And we're like, that's so lame. They wouldn't let us be the Devils. But like looking back, you're like, it's a Catholic school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of get why they went back to the Flyer. But hey, there's Duke Blue Devils, I suppose.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Which looks a lot less threatening, if I'm being honest. But anyway.
It's the red and the blue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because your brother was there at the same time. too.
Yeah.
Well, it's also just, I mean, who are you playing today? We're playing the Flyers. Who are you playing today? We're playing the Red Devils. It's like,
Yeah.
that's,
I don't
it's a
know
little
if
more intimidating.
Yeah.
I would like to think so. I know
Yeah.
our opponents thought that, but anyways. But no, yeah. So the Red Devils.
So what was your vibe in high school? What kind of kid were you? We were talking a little bit earlier, like, were you like the Metallica Beatles shirt? Were you like the North Face Birks?
I think I had a bit of culture shock going to Chaminade
Okay.
initially.
Yeah.
Just coming from, I was at Parkway Northeast Middle.
That's what I was going to ask. What
Right.
year did you start at Chaminade?
So 7th grade. And
Okay.
back then, 7th grade was as early as you could start.
Right.
Now it's 6th grade. But so I started at the very beginning. And like a handful of my hockey buddies went there. So I had a handful of friends. So,
Mhm.
but like culture shock in the sense where like I grew up in like a middle class household or, in Old Farm Estates, if anyone's familiar with that. And,
All used to live
all
there.
my friends are in mansions and the girls I'm trying to date live in mansions. And so it was just kind of like whoa,
Yeah.
like this is weird. But yeah, I think fast forward a year or two, you get acclimated and you realize like none of that matters. Like
Right.
Yeah.
my parents are awesome. It doesn't, whatever. And so anyways, to answer your question, I'd say I morphed into the North Face. I was more of a Patagonia guy, but like,
Patagonia.
yeah, the Doc Martens and the more preppy for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think I owned a pair of jeans in middle school or high school.
Yeah.
Like I was
Oh,
all
wow.
college.
Yeah. Well, because
Good
the
for
dress
you.
code too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and I think that's really why, because we had to wear it to school. So I just
So did you like the all boys? Was that helpful to you? Like not having the girls involved and it was just kind of like, I'm just with my bros so I can
Focus
deal
on
with
school.
honestly, for the most part, yeah. Like
Yeah.
it was less of a distraction because you still had boys being boys in the sense where like they're trying to be cool and trying to be funny, but it was like you could be more yourself.
Yeah.
Like, not to be too sophomoric, but a guy would like fart real loud. We'd all start laughing at a co-ed school. Like that's
Yeah,
not
you're not. That's not.
like you'd be like, that wasn't me, you know,
Yeah.
or like we could kind of like dudes could be dudes. I thought it took some pressure off, just socially.
Yeah.
But you know, on the other side of the coin, like I think it. I don't think one's better than the other. Like I think
Yeah.
having girls around, I think there's a lot of pros to that, and just being all boys, I think there are pros as well. I think initially, like you know, and maybe I was just going through an awkward stage, but like socializing with girls for a while, like growing up, going to school with girls, and all of a sudden not.
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know if you've seen Inside Out, but it's like girl, girl, girl. We were like,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
and then, but it got to a point where I think once we were in 8th grade, we were hanging out with all these other girls from all girls schools,
Right.
and we're hanging out with them after school on weekends. And I was like, the awkwardness kind of melted away, and then it started to just kind of feel like my new normal, and I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of females in your household too. So
Yes.
sometimes that extra just like testosterone, like I get to
Yeah.
be around the dudes a little bit more.
Whether I liked it or not, I was, you know, a little male feminist. You know what I mean? Three, I'm the youngest, and I had 3 older sisters,
Yeah.
and so like they always had their friends around, and you know, if I was put my place real quick if I
Yeah.
said something sexist or inappropriate.
Yeah.
Sure, I did it something.
Not happening, little brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. So I mean, we're both. We went to Northeast Middle as well, Parkway North. So yeah, I can remember there were times, you know, waking up at like 6 a.m. to shower on Friday. So you like looked all, and that just sounds so nice not to have to worry about that. And
Yeah.
so like when my daughters are asking, because they're all younger, you know, oldest is 10, about like where I went to high school versus where they're most likely going to go. And I'm like, you're not going to have as much pressure. It's not going to, but you're right. I mean, there's pros and cons with both.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, definitely the looks part, it would be so nice to have just rolled out of bed and been like, I don't care what I look like. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here to learn and then go play, for me, soccer at the end of the day, for you, hockey. And like, it's got to be a good, less to worry about, less
Yeah.
stress.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I wouldn't like advocate like you have this is better, this is
Right.
better, but the all boys
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was just seemed easier.
I think some would work better for some kids than others. I'm sure
Everyone's different.
everyone's
For
different.
sure.
So
But like I
yeah.
remember like I forgot to put deodorant on. I was like, oh man, I kind of stink. And like, who cares?
Who
I'll
cares?
figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll wait till get to my
Yeah.
locker. Like, who cares?
My friends are going to mess with me, but who cares?
Exactly.
So when you think back to your high school days, do any moments significantly stick out that you're like, man, that was a heyday for Keith?
Like academically, not really. I don't know, but like, I think. Well, look for hockey, for example. I remember my first getting to play varsity as a freshman, and like the first game wasn't against a good team. I was like, oh, I got a shout out. And then my second game was against CBC, and we won. And I didn't know this, and I'm glad I didn't because I probably would have put pressure on myself. Like we haven't beaten them in years, and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
sweet. And so like,
Yeah.
and I look up and I just remember making a save, and they're like, he's a freshman, like that chant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had goosebumps, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then I've been like chasing that dragon ever since.
Yeah.
So
And shout out to Chaminade hockey team for
finally,
taking the big prize this year and beating out
Finally.
DeSmet. I heard it was a little controversial.
it wasn't though.
It wasn't. All the
No.
hockey dads on the threads were like, wasn't winning.
I have like 7 different camera angles and they
You
go on
do?
the back
Okay.
of that. And then I even on that note, I had a Chaminade, or not a Chaminade, a DeSmet dad. I was watching Lincoln, who's
Oh,
in middle school
okay.
playing for the Rockets. He had a state championship game, and it's like noon or 1 o'clock. And this DeSmet dad, he doesn't even have a kid on the team, but he's like all lubed up, walks over to me, and he's just like talking about the goal, and I'm like, that definitely went in. And I was
Yeah.
like, do you want to show you? And then he's like, well, they can't review them. There's no goal judges. I go, there have been goal judges in mid-states since like the 80s.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, are you sure? I'm like, yeah.
I'm
dude,
pretty sure, dude.
I'm actually very sure about it. And he's like, well, and I'm like, can you just let us have this?
Yeah.
Like, can
Yeah.
you just go have another beer?
Don't
Yeah.
I had secondhand embarrassment for this guy. I was like, just let us have it.
take a seat,
But-
pal.
But it definitely went in, and but yeah, it was anticlimactic in the sense where like one ref said goal, one said no, and then they looked at the footage. You're like, oh, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it on my phone.
Well,
For
that's
sure it went in.
exciting. Yeah. That's
But no, I was very happy for those kids.
Yeah.
Very happy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
very cool. And okay, so big moments were basically centered around like freshmen on the hockey team winning. So maybe not like a heyday moment, but like what kind of trouble were you like?
Yeah, like
were you
like partying moment. Like, what do you look back and you're like, God, that could only have happened in high school at that time.
Oh gosh, I don't even know where to begin. I'm so glad social media and smartphones
Right.
exist. Like,
We missed that by this much, and
Oh
I'm
my
so
we are
glad.
so
gosh.
lucky.
I'm so glad. I would have tweeted the dumbest,
Oh God,
like in my emo state when I was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
alone too much,
beer
having-
bonging and keg stands and
just the dumbest stuff.
Yeah. I
I think we started like going to parties in like 8th grade,
Yeah.
and back then it was like huge, like so many kids. Towards like looking back, like you're looking at his parents, like, why would you allow this to happen?
Yeah.
But it always seemed like it was like the kid with like the biggest house, biggest yard,
Yes.
and could accommodate. And then like the later high school went on, like the smaller those
Yeah.
gatherings got.
Yeah.
And then I'd say by the time we were juniors, we would hang out with like the seniors a lot.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like a 20 to 40 person party. And then once we were seniors, we hung out with the juniors.
Right.
It was kind of like, I don't know, that's just kind of how it went. And we kind of had our girl groups, like our girls, like I dated a girl throughout high school. So we hung out with like her friends. They went to Villa. And then we had this group of girls I was friends with from St. Joe. And we all just kind of had our little cliques.
Yeah.
And then like a couple of my buddies, and one of them married dated some St. Joe girls that were in your grade, like a year below us. And so we hung out with them a bunch too. So once we actually had like friend groups, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like going to, I honestly had more fun in high school than I did college, and I freaking loved college. Like
Oh, yeah.
college was, for
I've
me,
always said that too.
as great as it was for anyone. Like I loved it, but like high school, there'd be a 50-person party, and I was friends with everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Or at least like for the most part. And
You're
I knew
friends with
everyone's
everybody,
name.
and the lack of responsibility that you had then
Yeah.
too. You were just there having a good time
Yeah.
with your friends. You didn't have to. I mean, sure, you had assignments due and stuff like that, but not like college.
care.
You were
It was
worried
like-
about like your major, like
Right.
what what am I going to get into? What's my
Right.
career?
It was
Not at
just
all.
pure fun. That's what you're
I was worried about what late night food are we getting.
right.
Yeah.
Like that's the only
Is
thing
it
I was-
Taco Bell?
And
or
what was it?
Eagles?
What was your late night?
Well, when we were at my buddy who lived in Hampton Park, we'd go to Del Tacos,
Mhm.
like right there. If we were out west, it would be Steak and Chicken Taco Bell. Or one of those three.
Right.
I mean, those are probably
Right on the olive
those are
stretch.
probably the only places I've been anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I miss that was the most fun, was going to those like smaller parties and just knowing everyone's name, and they all
Yeah.
knew your name, and it was great.
I agree. I've said that too. A lot of people are like, "What? You know, there were no bars. You couldn't go out." I'm like,
We found
we never were
we've yeah.
had a lack of a place to go.
Yeah.
We're
In
there
a
for the
field.
party
Yeah.
she had, right?
Whatever.
No,
Where Amy was babysitting.
no, I
his-
wish I was.
Keith's
I
sister
heard
was
about this
babysitting
forever.
us,
I
and
was not-
she and I, for one,
If your parents are
one hell
watching
of a
this, I was
rager,
not there. I wish I was.
No, but
Is it-
that got out of hand because
all the schools.
I think Derek was going to Chaminade. I was going to Parkway.
You're at
Northern.
Central.
Or yeah,
the
I
time.
was at Central, but I was friend. Robbie Kirch was living in our
yeah.
basement. So he
Okay.
was going to a school. And then it was just like, then the girls' schools
Yeah.
that were associated with shop. And it was just like, it was like 5 different high schools
Right.
at our house.
Things would escalate
Yeah.
quickly, and that was before like texting existed.
Yeah.
I
And it
know.
was still like word of mouth.
Word of mouth was
It's like
Yeah,
wildfire.
I actually tried to cut it off,
Mhm.
and then that guy lit my bushes on fire. He gave me a lawn
Naturally.
job.
These
Poor
things
Amy
happen.
comes home from working late at Satchmo's.
No,
and she's like,
Ozzy's. She was.
oh,
Yeah.
she was at Ozzy's. That's right.
Same
And she
difference.
was like, girls, I told you a small party. We're like, I don't know how it happened.
She was overwhelmed.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
understandable.
overpowered.
We've apologized to her many times, but we still owe her an apology
Yeah.
for that one.
Pretty sure she's laughing about it. But no, I wish I was there. I've heard nothing but stories. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Derek was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Derek was having it.
At first, he was
was-
into it at first, and then when he saw it just was not
Yeah.
calming down, he was like, oh
Yeah.
boy.
That's
He
not
was
right.
into it the first day or two, and then he was like, "How it always is."
Yeah.
Like Elaine, you've gone too far.
Derek has always been the voice of reason in both of our lives.
Yeah.
So,
Derek is
like-
her older brother. by the
Yeah.
way.
So any like moments like that, they just debauchery that you can share publicly, or like even an embarrassing moment, or
I mean, I don't have any, like, I have a million, I'm sure, but not off the top of my head. But like, I have a story embarrassing, I could tell about one of my good friends, and I won't name him, but I have a friend, and this is a true story, and it sounds completely fake. But we were at the aforementioned friend who's lived in Hampton Park. It's like neighborhood, like right like Hanley and 40.
Mhm.
And there were like a handful of kids from my school that lived. It's a beautiful neighborhood. Homes are just insane.
Yeah.
But it was
The
like,
Demont?
yeah, right. Richmond Heights, but
Yep.
like, yes, it's
Yeah.
right borders them on. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. But anyways, and like some of these parents, like I'll take a step back. Like we would be at these houses and parents would be out of town.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friend's parents were out of town, like traveling every other weekend to go visit his siblings or play college sports or go on vacation because they could. Or we had zero supervision.
Yeah.
We literally could do whatever
Same.
we wanted. And so, anyways, it's one of those nights where we have no supervision. We're just doing whatever we wanted. And one of my best friends and a few of them went to go get Taco Bell, and I was doing whatever I was doing, but I was like, get me whatever. And I didn't go with them. Well, my one friend was so inebriated. He's like, I got to get out of the car and throw up. So he gets out of the car to throw up, and he's in the Taco Bell drive-thru with his legs hanging out where cars drive. Cause that's smart. And a Ford Bronco, not one of the new ones, like an OG
Yeah.
Bronco, which probably
OJ
is-
Bronco.
Yeah. OJ Bronco, exactly. Runs over both of his legs, boom, boom, boom. And his knees got all like bloody and scraped up, and the back of his thighs were like calves, were really bruised. But he just stands up. And so apparently these dudes were like college age, and they're like, oh my, like freaking out, like
Yeah.
apologizing, like, you can walk, you're okay. And then so they're like, let us buy you Taco Bell. So my buddy gets in with these strangers who are like in their 20s. They buy him like $20 worth of Taco Bell. They're like, all right, buddy. He sends him on his way. He ends up finding my other buddies he was with and comes back, tells us a story, and we're all like, yeah, right. And then all our buddies are like, swear to God, this happened. We saw it. We were like, oh my gosh, he's not going to be able to walk.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we got to take him to the hospital. And then he just stands up and walks and gets in their car. We're all just like, what?
$20 a Taco Bell at that time
Oh.
was,
it's as good as
yeah.
insurance.
Oh,
he had like the whole menu.
Right? And then he's like, well, it's funny, a bunch of empty wrappers. Like, the dude's ate half of it. But anyway, so he comes back and we're like, how? And so we're trying to wrap our heads around this. We have a big hockey game the next night against like DeSmet or somebody,
Yeah.
some big rival school. And I'm like, are you going to play? And he's like, yeah, it is. And he's like, just don't, no matter what, like, don't tell my parents, which is like his go-to.
Yeah.
Do the dumbest shit. And then he'd be like, just don't tell my parents. I'm like, fuck, if they ask me, I'm not a good liar. But like his parents were oblivious to this. And I think I told him this when we were like in our late 20s.
Yeah.
And his mom was like, what?
What?
But anyways, he got ran over by a Bronco. And I think because he was so drunk that his body
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
like limp.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it probably would have done.
Snapped it. It was
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
legs. Yeah.
Like, and it's not like the Bronco could have been going fast in a drive-through.
Right. Yeah.
There's
I mean, it
anyone
could have been.
listening is probably like, this didn't happen.
Yeah.
It happened. And no, I didn't witness it, but like, there are enough witnesses there.
Yeah.
But that's a good
And that like
encapsulation of the stuff that would happen.
that sums up the things that happen to my friends,
Yeah.
and they would just walk away, not entirely unscathed, but
Yeah.
like walk away, and you're like, wow, we dodged a bullet there. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I have a million stories like that. I normally was like, I was not in perfect danger by any means, but I was normally the one who was like, yeah, guys, we probably shouldn't be doing this, but I was still guilty by association.
Yeah.
100%.
And
I
I'm
shouldn't
still
be doing this,
encouraging
but I'll
people.
watch.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll watch you guys do it.
Exactly. Like, I got one more story of shenanigans. And so we're right by Chaminade. It's one of those things where parties are getting broken up and we don't know where we're going to go. So
Yeah.
we're trying to figure it out. Like 2 or 3 cars, right? Like bumming around. And we're right at like Conway, like back there kind of by that gas station. We pull in like a driveway or a street. And my one buddy has fireworks in his car. He's like, I'm just going to shoot these at cars because that's a great
'Cause
idea.
Why not?
And we're like 16 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, we shouldn't be doing this. But I'm still like laughing my ass off. And it was the other car doing it. I was actually driving. All right. So it was me, the same dude I just told the story about,
Bronco guy.
sitting next to me, Bronco guy. I'm
Yeah.
not going to name him because he probably wouldn't like that. And then a few girls that we're friends with sitting in the back. One of them is actually his wife now, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So his wife now, and then like two other girls. And this other car decides to just shoot fireworks off, and I'm like laughing.
Yeah.
And this car, the sedan, comes pulling up, and he like intentionally shoots it. It lands on the windshield of this car, and we're like waiting for the colors to go off. And we're like, this is gonna be hilarious. The colors go off, and it lights up. We're like, oh my god, that's a cop.
Oh.
And it was like, what are the odds of that? Like 1 in 100, like 1 in 20, I don't know. But like, so naturally, so they just casually turn right and then peel down Conway, and the cop gets out, runs up to my car, and I roll my window. I go, officer, it was not, because it wasn't. It literally was there.
Right.
And I was like, you can search my car. I don't have fireworks. And I was trying to A, get myself out of trouble, but B, delay as much as possible
So they could
get out. And it worked. And then he like, I think that the police officer realized like, oh shit, it wasn't you.
Yeah.
And he just was like, and he gets in his car and he peels down, and my buddy had a cell phone, and one of those guys had a cell phone. So he called like, he's coming. And like, so anyways, we helped them like navigate to get
Oh,
out
that's amazing.
and never got caught. But like stuff like that,
Yeah.
a lot of near.
But that's interesting, because the more I talk about our generation, there is staple firework story from everybody. And I'm like, maybe we should add that. Like, what's your firework story?
Oh,
I can absolutely think of one. I'll save that for another day when you and I are interviewing each other. But yeah, mine involved Roman candles. I just like you, was not doing it, but I was in the car 100% involved, laughing, and then it got real quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit.
Well, that's what the kid used to light my bushes on fire. He
Was
put
a Roman candle,
fireworks in all of them. But yeah, fireworks were a big thing in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Right?
Just so dumb.
Just that full invincibility.
We went through a big water balloon slingshot phase.
Yeah.
Where we would just rip them, and like we had to set up in the sunroof, and we would just on the highway shoot stuff up in the air, and then like look back, and I mean the dumbest, most dangerous. Where if I heard of a kid doing this, I would like ream them, and I'd be like, oh shit, my friends did stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did stuff. You know what I hope? I hope that whoever was driving the Bronco ends up watching this and then like reaches out on the comments. Look, it was me. I was the Bronco driver.
There's no way that happened more than once.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
It was us. It was us.
Yeah.
Was it Del Taco or Taco Bell?
I think it was Taco Bell.
Okay.
Because like I said, I wasn't there. I'm pretty sure it's a Taco Bell.
I'm sure they would remember. I
was
doubt
either-
you'd forget hitting a kid.
Depends
with
how
your Bronco.
inebriated they were.
Well, that's
too,
what I'm saying.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if it was a Del Taco, it was the one that was right
On
there.
40.
Right off 40. That
Yeah.
is now
It's Hampton, right? Hampton and 40?
Hampton and 40. Yeah.
It's a high point.
High Point. Yeah, it's a High Point.
Yeah.
town. The one that used to be a Del Taco. That's the one we would go down there.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I hope the Bronco drivers reach out. And I was like, that was
You're
totally
the
me.
Bronco driver.
It was totally us.
Oh.
So we've talked about kind of the debauchery and everything. In high school, were there any moments of indication that kind of showed your creative side, that you kind of paralleled it, where you had this spark of, this is what I want to do?
I think there's a few things like I was interested in theater and in like the acting stuff, but I went to one audition, or not one audition, one try, whatever it was, I don't remember. And then
Audition.
the drama teacher's like, you play hockey, like you guys practice, you can't do this. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. So like I never even like got to do it, but I used to hang out with those kids sometimes. Like I had my own friend group that are still like my best friends today. But I would still like, I had a lot of interest in that. And so I would go to all the plays and support them. And honestly, I'd be like, man, I like that, to me looks awesome.
Mhm.
But you couldn't do that and play sport because they practice every day. It's
Yeah.
feasible. So there's that interest there, but I did get, and I'm proud of this, I was the only kid in the whole school to get an art scholarship at Chaminade
Nice.
for like drawing and painting and stuff.
I didn't. You know what? Now that you say that, I do. I think your dad I've seen some pictures
he
of
was
your
probably
pictures.
probably proud of that.
Yeah, he
probably
was.
might have mentioned that. But yeah, so I was proud of that. And ironically, I had a huge fight with my art teacher, which I regret. I was just being very immature and it was totally my fault. But I'm an adult now and I realize it. But I also like basically failed art and had to like redo a project in order to pass. And it was
Yeah.
like this whole thing. That's a whole nother story. I didn't actually fail, but almost did. And I was the only kid on an art scholarship. But anyways, like so that, but like what my classmates, what kind of like resonated with them and me was Chaminade's an old building, and the fourth floor, I'm sure they've renovated by now, but it wasn't the best by then. And there was like this like hole that like looked like Tom and Jerry, like a perfect
Yeah.
mouse
Mouse
door.
hole.
And I would add to it so we'd have like free reading at the end of English where we have 15, 20 minutes to go read on your own and like go lay wherever. And I would go to the same spot and
The mouse hole.
I'd add a window. I call that
Yeah.
mouse house.
Yeah.
I'd add a window and no one messed with it. Everyone's like, that's Keith's, like leave it alone. And so I added a door, I added like a window, and I added a sign that said mouse house, and I'd add to it. And everyone kind of thought it was like, not everyone, I'm sure some people thought it was stupid, but it was kind of like funny.
Yeah.
And so guys were like, dude, mouse house. Yeah. And like, it just kind of, it stayed there for like a year. And then finally someone noticed it and probably cleaned it.
Aw.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, like your sense of humor, and obviously with Kane, there's a very unique sense of humor there. And like, was that something like your group of friends in high school? Did you all kind of share? Because I feel like with our group of friends, we all kind of share the same dialogue in our humor. And like, was that going on, or was that more like internal for you? And then it
I think
happens.
both.
Yeah.
Like my friends and I were close and we had the same sense of humor for the most part, but I was definitely like the weird one in the
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
I would think that they would agree with that statement. I also was notorious for like I would I would like write notes or do drawings and like either pass them around in class and like get other kids in trouble
Yeah.
and just be like, I don't know, and just like play coy. Or I would like what my good friend Steve, I wrote him a note. It was like just really weird. And I just wrote him a note anonymously, like put it in his agenda. And this is like something I would do all the time. Just so they'd read it and be like, what the and
Yeah.
like Keith and his mom got it first. And it wasn't like inappropriate. It wasn't like anything like creepy or
Yeah.
inappropriate. It was just like she was so confused
So random.
that she called the school to be like, why does my son have this note?
See, this doesn't sound random to me because
Oh,
this sounds
God.
exactly like what my husband would do, and like how
Yes.
he messes with people,
I
and
feel
like
like
that's why you
allies-
two get along so
Yes.
well. Like he like random weird ways to catch people off guard is
Yes.
his favorite type
Same.
of humor.
Yes.
So
Like when I saw him in the commercial and did the like
You and
the
I had
little
to
giggle,
leave.
I was crying. And
Chris
I'm
was like, Keith, Anna, you got to get in
yeah,
there.
quiet on the set. Yes, I think your husband and I have the same.
It's very
humor.
similar. Very
South
similar.
Park has always been like my favorite show. Anyway, so like very sophomore humor, but I
Yep.
like to have layers to it.
Do you like
100%.
the comic relief in your home too?
I tried, probably thought I was, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I was the youngest of 5 and we were
Yeah.
pretty spread out. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they found me funny or not. I don't know. Maybe at some point,
Yeah.
but
I mean, everybody in your family's got a pretty good sense of humor. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. We used to play, it's funny, and I played this with your brother, probably you too. And I used to play with my sisters, but like there's a show in the 90s called Make Me Laugh on like Comedy Central or MTV or something.
I don't think I remember.
No?
I'm
Do you
sure
remember?
I saw it.
Like your brother, it's like the two of us would play. It'd be like when
Mhm.
we're with a group of friends and like basically you get on stage and everyone's there and they're trying not to laugh and you're trying to
Oh,
laugh.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like timed. It's like, oh, I got 12 seconds. Or
Yeah.
maybe we made it up. I don't know. But we used to do stuff.
No, I remember, and it was like, yeah, to see how long someone could go without laughing.
Yeah.
And yes, I do. I don't remember if it was a show or if I have seen
It
it
was
played.
just like a game we played back
Yeah.
then. But anyways, we do stuff like that too. But
Yeah.
no, I think I was a weird one out of my friend group for sure.
Yeah.
Still to this day. Like we do guys trips or bachelor party. Well, we're all married now, but like we do guys trips every couple of years, and everyone's like, Keith, when you gonna do notes? And I was like, just you should force it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't
And
ask
then,
about it.
like one time we were in Chicago staying at the Dana Hotel, and there's like we're on like the 15th floor. There's balconies, there's people. And I would like draw a weird picture or write a weird note and just drop it down and watch someone pick it up and read it. And just
That's
like Allie.
Al. No, that reminds. So when we were moving, not to turn this over on us, I'll make it really short. But when we were moving out of his place in Arsenal, so it was at Grand and Arsenal, so Tower Grove area. But we were throwing stuff out of the place, and we found a deck of cards, and it was a full deck, and every card was a picture of a naked man, completely naked, fully aroused. And Al was like, I'm going to mail these to all my friends anonymously. And he would just like put them in an envelope and like mail it to all of his different friends. And then randomly he'd get a text and he would be like, dude, look what I got in my mailbox. And I would just be like losing his mind. And it went on for so long because we had 52 of them. So for years, his friends were just getting random cards in the mail. And that's like the exact
we did. So my wife came back from her bachelorette party with like wiener straws or like little wieners, something little wieners. And I was like, I'm mailing this to, I'm not going to say who, but if he's watching this, he's like, it's you. Because he never has said anything to me. But like, I would mail it. I have a friend in New York. Well, now he knows I'm talking.
Well, yeah.
I have a friend in New York who I'd like mailed that to a few times. And
a few people caught on, but I just outed him for the people who didn't figure it out. But most people, like, and once they figured it out, they were like, oh my God, how did I not put that together?
Yeah.
Like, where your friends were probably like, of course, Keith, of course he did this.
Yeah, same sense of humor for sure.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue, I guess, into Kaner.
Yeah.
And like, how did that come up? Is that alter ego? Like, do you call it an alter ego? Or is it just a whole different persona?
It's not like Daniel Day-Lewis doing some deep character. It's just like another version of me. I wish it was deeper than that.
You don't go method on Kane?
No, I wish. I wish I was a like legitimate actor.
But is it like loosely based off of someone you know, or is it all just like a brain baby
character?
Kind of both. Like, so initially our first video is like adult humor. I was hoping like adults and beer leaguers would watch it. Really, actually, that's not even true. I was hoping my teammates found it funny. Like, no part of me thought that it would get views or that I would turn it into a job. Like, that was never the goal. I wanted my teammates to be like, haha, that was funny.
Yeah.
And like they did, but they're like, why'd you do that? So like, why are you taking the time to do that? I'm like, because I can, and I felt like it, and whatever, who cares? But then I realized, like, you have access to analytics on YouTube, and then I'm like, oh, like a bunch of women in their 40s are watching. Interesting. And it's like, no, they're not. No, they aren't. Their 10-year-old sons are watching. And then you're like, oh, okay. So then we shifted it to like, I do videos with little kids where they beat me and they outsmart me. So it's definitely like a kid channel, which wasn't my goal, but like, hey, it is what it is.
Her son and all her friends, when we first put out like our teasers, they were like, you gotta get Kane. Like that has to be your first guest. Then
they all get too cool at one point, like little kids at rings, so we'll be like, think it's awesome, and then they age out to where, and normally kids are like, oh, I used to watch you all the time. I'm like, oh, thanks, buddy. And like, it doesn't hurt my feelings, but I get they age out of it. It is what it is. But anyways, to answer your question, like, I was at a like goalie expo at my former employer. I was working in the marketing department for a retail company called Total Hockey. That got bought out or engulfed by Pure Hockey. And I'm there, and you know, like playing in NHL was like never like in the cards remotely for me, or like playing pro wasn't like something. Obviously, when I was a little kid, I dreamed of it, but like as you get older, you realize like what's realistic and what isn't. So like playing professionally wasn't like on my radar ever. And I'm talking to these guys who played goalie for like 6 months or a year who are older than me. They're like, one was 29 and one was like 30 or 31. And so like naturally, like they weren't good. I could tell you without even seeing them play. Like there's no way you're good at this. But anyways, they were going on and on about how like, like I think I might try to go pro. And I thought they were joking. And I was joking back. And then he was like, like, and this is Tim Thomas was a goalie who won the Stanley Cup in the Bruins. He's had a great career, but he was a 29-year-old rookie and undrafted. So like they thought he was just some random Joe Schmo who started playing goalie and made it to the NHL 29. I'm like, no, you dumbasses. I was like, he was like a D1 goalie. He was like really good since he was a little kid. Like, have some respect. So this guy's going on. He's like, he's a 29-year-old rookie. So I'm going to be 29 next year. And I figure like in 2 more years, I'm going to try out, see if I can go to Blues camp. And I'm like, oh my God,
They're
you're
serious.
serious right
Yeah.
now. And I'm looking at him like, and I go, that's wildly disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, just thinking of like all the guys I know who are like
Yeah.
trying to go pro. And then I'm like, I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna put
I would
gasoline
go
on
with
this
it.
fire.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, dude, you could, man. And I was just like, and I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then this other guy chimes in. So that got the wheels turning. And
Yeah.
then there are, I'm not going to name them, but there are a couple dudes in St. Louis who were not good goalies. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
were never good enough to play AAA. And you have to be like the top 1% of AAA
Yeah.
in order to like
Sure.
go pro, right? And or whatever. It's very hard to do, is my point. And these guys were never played double A or anything like that. And they just
Had it in their mind.
and I'm like, what are you guys serious? So I'm like, why is it the goalies who are just so delusional who like, so that got the wheels turning.
Yeah.
That's such a brilliant starting point, though. And like, yeah, you watch these people, and it's like, yes, you're playing a character, but these guys were dead serious. And like,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, that's where the humor meets the character, and
Mhm.
I can do so much with this.
Yeah.
Like,
And
that is brilliant.
It's kind of like Uncle Rico. Like,
Yes,
like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
Like
He's
Uncle
like, I'm
Rico,
gonna go back to state.
coach would have put me in the fourth quarter. No
Yeah.
doubt in my mind.
It
I'd go
reminds
pro or
me
whatever.
of
We would have won.
the Zamboni driver.
Yeah.
The
And that's another
big great.
Oh, yeah.
up in Toronto, and we follow each other on social media. He's awesome, but
Yeah.
like even him growing up, like I bet you he was like playing double A.
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
Like I
Totally.
bet you he was good.
Yeah,
growing
that
up.
wasn't the first.
And of
Yeah.
all the
You know.
sports out there, like I could think of 5 or 10 different ones that, yeah, maybe you just like archery, maybe you just have like a great shot or something, but hockey, like that is something you have to have played from
Grow
about
up.
yay high till
Yeah.
you're 29. You can't just jump into hockey or do this.
It's so true. Like hockey players try to have this as a flex. And I'm like, it's an opportunity thing. Like
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like, they're like, well, LeBron James like can't even ice skate. I'm like, if LeBron James grew up playing hockey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he'd be
He'd
sick.
be
Like,
amazing.
come on, like
Right.
don't be an idiot. But
Right.
but yeah, it's a privileged sport, but it's all about accessibility.
Mhm.
And, yeah. But anyways,
Well,
that kind
what do you think it is? Because there is this, notion in the hockey world that goalies tend to be weird or eccentric, and like you said, like there is this delusion, and that is kind of an asset because you have to have that to kind of like roll with the punches, like
Yes.
not like you have to be able to think about the last goal and just like, what do you think it is? Because when Blake wanted to be a goalie, I was just kind of like, you live in your head too much.
Yeah.
Do you think that's just something that they're born with? I mean,
a
because
little bit, but it's also something like the mental side of things was never my strength. But now I've been doing it so long that I'm like, I can shake off a bad goal.
yeah,
2 seconds
Yeah.
where like my younger self would just not let it go. And
really,
Analyze.
yeah. I mean, I would act confident and cool, and you would look and be like, "Oh, he's fine." And like, there are times where I was not fine, but
Mhm.
but I think like I'm gonna use Jordan Bennington as an example because everyone knows he's one of the best goalies in the world.
Yeah.
And he has ice in his veins, and he's incredible, and he's a different guy. And I don't mean that as an insult. He's just different, perfect way as a goalie. Where like one of the best goalies in the world, and even he gets absolutely embarrassed sometimes.
Right.
yeah,
And this is not an insult to him. It's the opposite. But it's like, as a goalie, it doesn't matter if you're the best goalie in the world, like a Jordan Bennington. You're going to have nights where you give up 7 goals and like
Mhm.
15 shots, and everyone's saying how bad you are. And it's just, you just have to have thick skin.
Yeah.
and you
I would think
have to,
also
like,
just not pay attention to it as much as you possibly can.
I doubt he cares about
Yeah.
any of that stuff, and he shouldn't because
Right.
he's a stud.
He's amazing.
I love him,
Yeah.
and I hope he's a Blue forever. But it's just, I use him as an example. Like, you're the zero or the hero. And
Yeah.
you have to be okay with that. But for most of us, I think, chasing that dragon, like the best feeling is like winning a game that you shouldn't win. as a
Yeah.
goalie. Like when you're like, I did that shit.
Yeah.
Like that's why we do it. We love it. But, it's few and far between. But as long as you're okay with the in-betweens and just letting it go, then you kind of
yeah,
enjoy the ride when it comes, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
yeah. It's just
But like, we're
There's
we're
a
different.
different mentality
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
And
it's just
you
interesting
have to-
because knowing you as Keith, you are an incredibly like grounded and humble person. And then you have Kane, who has the like
Delusions of
insane
grandeur.
inflated
Yeah.
ego,
Yeah.
you know? And it's just like, how did those two like collide? And
I think every goalie has that a little bit. It's almost like when you put that mask on, it's like,
mhm.
I don't know, this is a bad example. It's like you're a superhero or something. Or like
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
different
no,
person.
that makes sense.
And like,
That's like you're locked in.
Yeah.
yeah, like
Once the
yeah,
goes down,
It's your armor.
yeah.
flip a
Yeah.
switch,
Yeah.
you're someone else. And I've always kind of felt that way to a degree. And I think goalies do. But I also think there's something psychologically that we like playing the disruptor role.
Mhm.
Where like when a guy has a wide open net and you get there and you save it, and you just see their body
How
language.
do you do that? Yeah.
They're like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's right. And like just being that disruptor
Right.
gives
Yeah.
us more joy than like, scoring the goal or making that play. Not that it didn't, like I love doing that too.
Yeah.
But
No,
make
but
any sense?
there's something where somebody's coming at you and they're like, I got this. And you're like, no, you don't. And
Yeah.
then you made
Yeah.
that save. And
Yeah.
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 like just, seeing
So-
the disappointment in their body language is rewarding.
Can you like slip
Language,
in and
and
out of Kane and Keith pretty easily?
Not really. Like I tried, there's a guy, Nick the goalie, has like this huge following and he gets mic'd up and he's like funny and everyone's like, you should do that. I'm like, I can't. Like when I play for real, I'm like, even in beer league, I'm not saying I take it like so serious, but I like, if I'm going to play well, I have to like lock in
Yeah.
and my teammates can tell if I'm locked in or
Yeah.
not. And I'm just like, and then once the game's over, I'm back to being myself and I have beers and I'm normal, but I just get in this zone.
Yeah.
And if I don't play well. So it's like they expect it out of me, but it is like a switch I flip. So when I do these
That's what I
silly
was gonna say.
videos with
Yeah.
like kids and I'm like, my cameraman's like, remember to talk, remember to be silly and remember, and I'm like, I can't do both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just can't. I'm
Right.
sure
Because I was going to ask, like,
Makes
if
sense.
you had to give a review of Helly's performance in the U.S. Olympic, like, what would Keith say and how would Kane give the review?
I can if you want me to.
Yeah.
I would say, well, it's kind of funny because I was very vocal about, not on K-Man Game, but on my personal social channels because I'm like, I can't say this because I'll probably piss someone off.
Okay.
But I was very vocal about how I didn't think he should be a starting goalie.
Oh, I
was
didn't know
very,
that.
very against it. I was like, Jake Ottinger should be the starter. Why is he the third? This is dumb. And I still don't think I was wrong. Like in hindsight, I was wrong because like he played incredibly,
Yeah.
obviously, and he won us the gold medal. And I was so happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going into it, I was just bitter. And I'm like, if we don't win the gold medal, it's because they made the wrong Evan decision. But you were wrong about that. I'm like, yes. And I'm so
Happy to
happy to be wrong about it. He was incredible.
Right.
So the Keith would say he plays deep. His feet are concrete. He has really good hand-eye. He was really good 5 years ago, but he isn't anymore. He's not clutch. He's the opposite of Jordan Binnington. I'd rather have Binnington in my net. I was dogging him.
Yeah.
But I also, in the back of my head, I'm like, I want to be wrong. And he was incredible. He
Yeah.
played amazing. And Keith admits when he's wrong, I'm wrong all the time.
Yeah.
And like with little kids, I think I coach kids, by the way. I think they value it. I'm like, hey, you're right. That's my mistake.
Right.
You're right. We're going to do it. And like, they're like, oh, an
Yeah,
adult,
100%.
an adult admits he's wrong. And I think that goes a long way
Yeah.
Does.
when I admit I'm wrong and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. We're going to do it your way and blah, 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 or
Mhm.
whatever the case is. And then Kaner would be, I guess I could go two ways with it. I could just be like, well, I mean, if I had the opportunity, like I would have made that paddle
Right.
save, except it would have
Yeah.
been my glove hand and
Yeah.
I would have windmilled and then people would have cheered even louder.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
would have been like,
Duh.
people would still be talking about it right now. I would say something like that. Or I could be like, I was sick. Like he won it for us. He was incredible. Like,
Right.
of course, the goalie is the reason USA
Yeah.
won gold medal.
That's
You know what I mean? Like,
I like the
it's
first one.
very
Yeah.
funny,
Yeah.
and Kaner seems to focus more on like the fit, and and it's like that is how like posers.
Yeah.
Like if I look the part, and if I could just get down
Yeah.
the butterfly and just use that every time, like
And they really
think
they
he
really
is
try to
people.
get down in the
Yeah.
butterfly, but it's like, oh man, you're doing it totally wrong.
Right.
But like you think you're so good.
Yeah.
There are like 20 to 100 beer league guys who are my age who are starting, like, they're like, I'm a hockey content creator. none of them realize like I'm doing this satirically
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
this isn't my real name. They're just like, oh, and they're like, he's competition. And I'm just like,
You're
I'm
like,
joking.
yeah,
You're serious.
You're serious.
That's the difference. But like, and no, I don't think anyone realizes outside of St. Louis that this isn't my real name. And I'm just trying to
That's
mess
funny.
with
That is,
people.
yeah, that's wild.
So yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is there's a lot of like real life canine dates out there
Yeah,
making content,
just
doing their
dead
thing.
serious.
And most of them follow me, which they should. Like, why wouldn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
But some of them don't and like will get in and try to like say something insulting and I don't respond. But I'm like, you're a grown man.
Yeah,
And you don't even realize like I'm joking.
right.
But like I'm not gonna waste my time explaining
I-
it to you.
I remember the first time I saw one of your videos, I was laughing so hard. And I remember it was a bar I used to work at, and they were like, I don't think he's kidding. And I'm like, he's kidding. He's absolutely kidding. This
Yes.
is
He's just that
gold.
good.
Yeah.
This is gold.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very nice.
Yeah.
of you to say.
No, they're amazing.
Sometimes I'm like, man, this is like way too like 8-year-old humor.
No.
And that's my audience.
But see, I guess then if it is, I have 8-year-old humor and I love it.
That's
so.
not what I meant.
Well, what kind of like acting projects are you working on? Doing the creating, or are people coming to you to help like workshop ideas? Or
I am not doing any creating on acting stuff outside of like the Canine Gate stuff. I get
Yeah.
to do pretty much whatever I want there. And then my camera guy comes up with a ton of concepts too. And we work together. And
He's got a great camera guy. I know.
Chris, shout out to Chris.
Shout out
Pick
to
up.
Chris.
But yeah, Chris is a huge help. And then like my main sponsor is Bauer Hockey, and so
Oh,
like
Okay.
they'll be like they're really good about. I mean, they've been a sponsor of mine for so long that we have such a trust to where they're like, do your own thing, but if you can mention these two things, we'd appreciate
Yeah.
it, kind of a thing. So they don't write the script for me, but like sometimes I did a pharmaceutical ad, and like it was so scripted, so terrible. And then you do it, and there's no creativity, and they're like, "Well, why does this perform bad?" I'm like, "I don't know, genius. Why do you think
Yeah.
you made me talk about a bunch of like everyone knows it's an ad?" And they're like, "No
Right.
thanks." Like,
yeah.
anyways, so it's cool to have creative control there.
Yeah.
But from the acting side stuff in St. Louis, I've never had any creative feedback or input rather. It's like so I work with Talent Plus. That's a
Yeah.
agency here in St.
Mhm.
Louis.
No,
It's
exactly.
like the original one. There's a few, but it's the OG.
There, yeah, the first one. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, Sharon Tucci, it's
Yes.
her company, and
My mom knew.
so it's something I've always wanted to get my foot in the door. And a
Mhm.
hockey commercial, I was basically a body double,
Okay.
and then they're like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I like got in, and so anyways, I'll audition for like Purina commercials, and I won't get them. I'll audition for like Bud Light stuff. So like
Yeah, you did one though, didn't you?
I did. I was in a Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah,
It was
I
it was
remember
my
that.
arm. It was my arm. So like, I don't know if unless my
This
dad
is
Yeah,
the
I-
famous
my dad
I'm
was-
sure it was Larry.
It's actually-
Larry was
sorry,
like, "That's
grabbing a
good."
beer, grabbing a beer and handing it to somebody. But anyways, like it's little like I haven't done anything national
Yeah.
besides those two things.
Well,
but like
what did making a hockey journey mean to you? Because I feel like that was that was a heart.
it was, and it was the most stressful thing I've ever done in my
Really?
entire life. I didn't want to do it.
Oh,
My
Oh.
old business partner, who's
Oh.
like still one of my good buddies, we just parted ways because he just was going a different direction in
Mhm.
life. But that was all him talking me into it.
okay.
And I was like, no, we should just turn this into a series of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we need to make a movie. And I was like, we need to do Kickstarter. And I was like, I don't want to ask people for money. It was like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
Campaigning, asking for money, doing all that,
That's hard.
getting up in front of all these people. Like I hated
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
second of it.
But you
Yeah.
just felt pot committed.
And then what sucked is like, it was all in Dave's hand, the editing process, because he went to school for that. So did
Yeah.
Chris. Like,
Mhm.
I can't really help
Yeah.
in that regard until I see something and then I can have input. But like,
Yeah.
I was no help. So like, I see all these people being like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? And I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
And so this went on for months, and it got to a point where I'm like, dude, we got to get this done. And we're not hitting deadlines.
Yep.
COVID happened, and it
I was going to
messed
ask
with
about COVID. with
COVID screwed up everything with a lot of people. We have nothing to complain about, but it
Yeah.
screwed up that project and delayed things. And anyways, I have nothing to complain about because we had a successful Kickstarter campaign. Had those people not been generous, we wouldn't have been able to finish it. So like I have a lot of things I'm thankful for, but that was the hardest, most, I
Hard.
mean, we made it. I mean, it's not like an impressive documentary, but still a film with like a $22,000 budget.
Oh, wow.
That's nothing.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Like that is nothing.
that's incredible.
And we made no money. Like we lost money. We put
Yeah.
our own money into it. But at the end of the day, I'm so proud of it. Like I'm
Yeah.
still like, if someone watched it, I'm not like ashamed from to watch it. Like there's some really good pieces in there and the
Yeah.
message is good. It's,
Having a campaign it probably put you out of I would be very out of my comfort zone having to do that.
And I
That
feel
would be
like
hard.
as you get
I felt
older,
Yeah. I would-
to have that documentation, like especially now having your own kids,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
that's like worth its weight in gold to just have all of that footage and content and kind of like that story.
Yes,
on
I think
film.
so. Like saying I regret doing it is kind of, I regret saying that. But like, I think it was just like I don't know. Like
it was just different
I'll
than
never
how
do
you-
crowdfunding again.
Yeah.
Like I will just I'll sit down with someone with deep pockets and
Yeah.
get money from them like
Yeah.
normal people do when they try to finance the
Right.
project. But the crowdfunding was just like, like so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I would have.
Oh,
I mean, you
dude.
sell it like you have to be a sales. I did sales for like 0.2 seconds, and
Yeah.
I was terrible
Yeah.
because I would get so nervous.
Seen in Tommy Boy when he's trying to train Chris Farley on how to be salesy.
Yes.
And then he goes, "Alrighty then."
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I go, okay.
yeah.
Sorry for your time.
Yeah.
Sorry, I bothered you.
That is me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I don't
100%.
have it in me. But
Yeah.
anyways, so like, I'm glad we did it. I wish we went about it a different way. But anyways, like we have that done, and I still am like, this could be a series. Like we did one on Vancouver,
Yeah.
and I'm like, we could do if we got the funding. Like we could do like Toronto, and so
Yeah.
especially now that I've made so many connections in the hockey world. I've got Gel and all the other hockey creators from all over the world. I think it has legs. I actually reached out to Dave. I was like, we should revisit this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start pitching this. And I go, but
Just from that different angle.
Yeah,
And
but
approach it that way.
I think I said I'd rather eat rocks than do crowdfunding
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. But so anyways, he and I are actually supposed to catch up about that.
That's awesome.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
Yeah. No, that'd be cool to explore
Yeah.
for sure.
but at least I have that. I made a film. I made a feature length film. So
Yeah.
to your point, it's good to have that on
Yeah.
the resume, I guess.
Not a lot of people can say that either.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I think it's pretty awesome.
Thank
We did talk about your family a little bit.
Yeah.
And working with kids. What role now does your family play in KVG filming or just, what you're doing in general?
My boys are like characters now.
Yeah.
And my wife and I have talked, like, we don't know how long we want to let that go. Like
Yeah.
there may be a point where, once he's on the ice, we have him with one of those bubble
Mhm.
cages
Right.
and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Unrecognizable. But for now, they're just so cute.
Mhm.
And it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's so easy to come up with cute, funny content with them. So they're like kind of characters in my content
I
now.
love it.
And I hope they love hockey when they're older, but so far it seems like, Vinny's one, but so far Freddie seems to really love hockey and sports in general.
All of you, what hockey families, I feel like it's really hard to find
It's
a
hereditary.
sibling that isn't in or a child that isn't into it. I mean,
I don't know if this is true or not, but from my perspective, like, yeah, we put Blake on the ice at a young age, but he naturally fell in love.
that's what I'm saying.
And he had
It's like in your blood.
like the skill, the aptitude for it. But if he was like, I want to play soccer or something, yeah, I'd be like a little sad, but I'd be like,
Well,
this
sure.
is your life. I'm so effing happy
If-
that he's,
Yeah.
a little hockey player.
And
No,
when they
but I
come
think
from a
you're right.
family
You-
like that, it's in your blood, I feel like.
I think so. I think it's both,
Yeah.
but yeah, you also don't force it at the same time.
Right.
And I can tell, like, he loves it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, if I were right now to be like, do you want to watch the Blues game or do you want to watch Toy Story? Like, Toy Story.
Toy Story
Yeah.
Dad.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
two. So
Yeah.
I got plenty of time with him.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's good. So as a father, do you bring any like that this is a St. Louis podcast? Like, do you have any traditions or like is there anything inherent that you get in your personality that is instilled in you from
From, like,
growing
my
up in St.
childhood?
No, like just
Growing up in
from
St.
from
Louis.
growing up in
and-
this area,
yeah.
or is there a culture of St. Louis that you're seeing?
But they're
I
still
think-
pretty young though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's
well, he'll be 3 in July. So like there's things we will do like that I grew up doing, I think, but like, you know, we don't go all the time, but like Tenders is a
Yeah.
staple.
Yeah.
He loves going there. And of course, the 4th of July parades. Like
Mhm.
I grew up with my neighborhood, Old Farm would always do this big parade.
Old Farm did a
It's-
great one.
Yeah. And so I
Yeah.
was like, I used to be in it. It was like a really big deal. It was like the highlight of our summer. Now Webster does
Yep.
it. And so we take him, but like the 4th of July parade at Webster, it's
Yeah.
real similar. It's
so
bigger
good.
than Old Farm, but it's like the same thing.
We do it every year too.
Yeah, like that's, you know, stuff like that. I grew up being on a swim team at
Mhm.
Old Farm, and I was a pool rat
Oh, yeah,
way
you
before I
were.
was a rink rat. And I told my wife, I'm like, I want the boys to do swim team.
Yeah.
Like, I think I don't care if they do it into their teens, but like, I was like, I'm to this day, I'm a really good swimmer
Right.
because of that.
Right.
Just because, you know, I was doing butterfly at age 4 or 5. But yeah, I don't know, like things like that. But like to your point, they're so young that
Yeah.
there's so many things we haven't done that I'm like, I used to love my next door neighbor and I used to like camp out in the backyard,
Mhm.
stuff like that. I'm like, I can't wait to do that with the boys.
Nick and Vin.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So you
Nick and
went
Vin.
with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
This was like my friend at Ross. Like we're
Yeah,
really good
yeah,
friends.
right.
And like he wasn't a bad kid by any means, but we get each other into trouble.
Yeah.
I'd like to think he got me more into trouble than I got him, but I'm sure it was a two-way street. But anyways, and then he ended up moving next door. So
Oh,
it was like
gosh.
the kid who I always thought he was funny. To
Yeah.
this day, I still would think he's funny. But like I thought he was like the funniest human being
They
ever.
were both funny.
And then I'm
hilarious.
like, you're moving next door. Like it was like, think about it.
Yeah.
Like your best, funniest friend who
Well,
you
'cause-
like get in
right.
trouble with, all of a sudden is moving
Next door neighbor.
But we
Yeah.
all,
It was the best.
because we were living off Creek Mill Road
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, same.
So
you
we
were in the
would
same
all
neighborhood.
ride the bus together
Yeah.
to Ross. But yeah,
He got
that's
me in
crazy.
I still don't know how I was McKelvey and not Ross because I was closer to you guys.
A lot of it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
the neighborhood I grew up in, Old Farm, is now Parkway Central.
Yeah.
Not Parkway.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not
Oh,
north at
wow.
all.
I saw these
That's
kids
crazy.
like, and my dad still lives in the same
Mhm.
house, and I've seen
Yeah.
kids wear like Parkway Central stuff, and I
Yeah.
was like, is that where you go?
Right.
You know, I was like curious, and they're like,
Yeah.
the kids like,
They're like, "What are you talking about?"
yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
this is Parkway Central.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it used to not be okay.
Yeah.
But-
Well, here we're technically closer to Marquette, but the neighborhood is Lafayette.
Oh, I thought it was west, Parkway West.
No,
It's
that's
Lafayette.
further down.
I wonder if they
Okay.
rezoned
They had
Yeah, they
to.
must
like
have rezoned.
population.
Well, because it
This
always.
school's too crowded. Let's like
I
carve out.
thought that I was like, why isn't Old Farm Parkway Central? Like, I did think it was weird that it was
We
Parkway.
were closer, not much, but like a little closer to Central than North.
Well, this would be a good segue into the questions we ask everybody.
This has been so fun so far.
Yeah.
I feel like
Well,
we're
it's-
just like
We're
talking.
just shooting the shit. That's the
Yeah.
whole point.
Oh, we'll go right into the final segment, the 314 Tell Us More.
Which was completely inspired by Inside the Actor Studio. And
Did
we
you
wanted-
watch Inside the Actor Studio?
James
with
Lipton?
James Lipton?
Yes, of course. But like not every, like probably half a dozen or a dozen of them.
We kind of wanted to do the same thing where we have a cluster of questions that we're going to ask every guest at the end of each show.
I'm ready.
No, they're good. They're good. They're fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, first question. If you could have 3 dinner guests, living or dead, who's coming to dinner with you?
Ooh, a comedic actor / writer like Bill Hader, maybe South Park guys, Trey Matt.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been, yeah.
Someone like that.
Kind of mad at myself.
Because that's like, no part of me thinks that I will get to that point. Obviously, I'm pretty realistic about this. If I could get a national commercial one day, that'd be sweet. I don't have like
You
crazy
could,
goals,
though.
but like someone like that would just
Yeah.
be one, not just to learn from. They're so
They're
funny
just so fun.
and weird
And
like,
brilliant.
yes,
Like absolutely brilliant.
like yeah, they're so smart. Like someone like that, I think would be, or Will Ferrell. I'll add him to
Yeah.
that list. Sorry, so like one of those guys,
Okay.
and then like a cool musician. Like I'm gonna say Post Malone.
Ooh, yeah.
I-
That dude,
You love him.
I love that guy. You see him like by himself on like a cafe patio in
Yeah.
Paris, just like talking to strangers.
So
He's
down to earth.
cool. And like he came from humble beginnings,
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
least musically. Like he wasn't good at first, and then he got awesome. And
Yeah.
like he's got like such a cool.
What interview was he doing? And I forgot who it was. And they were like, so you have an effect on your voice when you're singing, right? And he was like, of course I do. Like, you think I'm that good? I don't
Yeah.
sound like that. Like,
Yeah.
he's just so,
But I've seen him
genuine.
do,
So cool.
so
yeah,
genuine.
I've seen him do like not the auto tune, like when he
Yeah.
did the Nirvana thing during
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID.
His country album.
He's
I was
done
His
some,
country
yeah,
album
he's
was
done
really
some
good.
great country
His
stuff.
Austin
I-
album I thought was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a good voice.
He's
beyond
really
the
funny,
auto
too.
tune as
Good
well.
sense of humor.
He's very talented, but I feel like he like worked for it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't natural, and he just had to keep working,
Yeah.
which is like we can all admire that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he also just seems, and I don't like. I'm not one of those people who like knows celebrity gossip, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't really know who's married to who or what's going on, so I don't really know about his personal life too much, other than like that dude looks cool. I would
Mhm.
love to like have a beer. with
He
him.
doesn't put much out there, which I respect. Like, you don't hear much about like who he's dating and all that. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure
He's low key.
he's very low key.
Respect that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, okay, so a comedic actor, writer, a musician like Post Malone, and then like one of the founding fathers, like
Mm.
like either
It's a good
Thomas
one.
Jefferson or Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton might be like, you were like a prodigy.
Yeah.
Why did you do that duel, man?
Right.
Why'd you do that? You could have done so much more in your life. But
I'm actually,
so impressive.
yeah,
And then like,
Founding Brothers, or the Pulitzer Prize winning.
okay,
Oh, nice.
I'm
And
unfamiliar.
it
Is
starts
it about-
off with the Burr and Hamilton.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And you're
Okay.
like, and Burr, like, why was that your thing? I don't know. I just have questions outside of
Yeah.
that. But like, and then Thomas Jefferson, I remember like reading his quotes and his like literature, like, what a brilliant
he was-
man. Like, he was like, what he said about equality was incredible. But then you're like, wait, you impregnated a slave,
Yep.
slave
He's got
lied
a
about it,
history.
and then like you own like 120 slaves or
Yeah,
whatever.
what
Like,
was his
he was like the
place
most,
called? His plantation was called something
Yeah.
just completely out. It was like
yeah, it was like in
Mecca,
Virginia
but
or
it wasn't Mecca.
Yeah,
but it
he had
was
like
something like that.
120
Yeah,
slaves
it was
that like
crazy.
basically got seized by the end of his life because
Yeah.
he was in like financial troubles.
Yep.
But like, what a contradiction that guy was. Like,
Yeah.
I would,
Well, yeah.
I'd probably go Alexander Hamilton because it'd be more fun. But like with Thomas Jefferson, like I have so many questions.
See, I heard Thomas
Party?
Jefferson liked to get down though. I heard he liked to party. So you could like throw a few back with
But
Thomas.
Yeah,
you guys,
maybe.
what's
Yeah.
insane is that these guys were like 20 years old
I know.
writing the Declaration. But some of them were like in their 20s.
They're all brilliant. Like
Yeah.
they're all super smart. That's one thing they all have in common.
But Alexander
One of
It was a good
Hamilton
3
did the duel
list.
because of his strength of character.
Yeah, but like, I
But
don't.
also,
He
it's,
didn't think that it was actually going to go on. He didn't.
Oh,
think
he
that-
thought I was just like, I don't want to turn it down.
He
and all of a sudden
thought
he's
he
there, and
would
he's like, oh,
shoot beyond.
We were
him,
actually doing
and
this.
we weren't actually going to aim at each other. This was more about I didn't want to take back a statement I made,
yeah,
because I believed it.
yeah.
You know,
But like Burr, like that was his thing. Like
Yeah.
apparently he like
yeah.
he killed a bunch.
Burr
of
was a real
Nazis.
dickhead.
yeah.
Yeah, that was just like
According
what
to this book,
Yeah.
Hamilton was like a really
he was like a
solid
prodigy,
guy.
and
Yeah.
he came from nothing in the Caribbean, and like
Yeah.
came over, and then was at what is it now? I think it's called, is it Washington or what? I forget what it's called now, but it used to be called King's College.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
drawing a blank. It's still a university.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's still there. I know what you're talking about.
Oh
I
my
can't
God,
think of the
drawing a
name.
blank of the name. Fact check that later. But anyway, just like so ahead of his time and brilliant. And
Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson, I remember being like, "You're so crazy smart," but then it's like, wait, you own slaves?
Yeah.
That goes against all
And
this.
all
shit.
this
Yeah.
stuff.
What about all this? All men are created equal.
He was
stuff?
a very
So-
self-contradicting man.
Yeah,
And
he,
like the extravagance, like I remember reading what he would spend on these parties, and it was
Yeah.
literally like, when I say party, not like political party, I mean parties he would host at his home, and the amount of money he would spend, and it literally was just to impress
Yeah.
and entertain the people that he would invite. It was, I mean, he enjoyed it too,
he
but
was
like,
so in debt though later.
oh my gosh,
After his
so much.
presidency, he was like, he
Yeah.
almost. I think he did lose the plantation eventually. It got seized
So-
after his death, I think, but he almost lost it before
Yeah.
his death.
I mean, he
Anyways.
spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And like, I think he was one of the first people to install, I don't know the technical term for it, but like that cubby hole where you would put food or wine into it, and then somebody would
Wow.
pull the pulley, and then it would go down to the kitchen, and then it would come back up like with a fresh
Yeah.
bottle of wine. He's like, give me the pulley for the
Yeah.
kitchen. I'm jealous I didn't come up with those three.
Yeah. That's
All right, question
didn't like
number 2.
19.
No, that was you hit good ones. Okay, this is a good one and one that I hold dear to my heart. If you could insert yourself into a scene of a movie, what scene would it be and what movie? And this is you don't necessarily have to be playing a character in the scene.
I'm gonna go
It's a hard one.
Ocean's 11
Mhm.
because all those guys were so cool in their
Yeah.
own ways, and there'd be like slow-mo scenes of them looking like badasses.
Yeah.
when-
I actually just
we all
rewatched
know
that,
none
like,
of them are
2
badasses in
weeks
real
ago.
life.
Yeah.
They're all artsy nerds, but or specifically like I don't know. I don't know if it's the first one or all of them, but like Brad Pitt was easy
Yeah.
in every single
Yeah.
scene.
Yep.
Like, well, I could do that.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I know I couldn't, but like just something like badass like that
Yeah.
would be cool. And it makes me think of like Peaky Blinders that's coming out with a
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah.
I love that show. I'm like,
Yes.
that would be like the coolest.
Yeah,
gig,
that would
I
be.
think,
Yeah.
to just be like one of those badass
And I-
British mobsters or Irish mobsters.
So
Would be
that-
cool.
I'm like waiting for that dress code to come back for guys.
It's
you
been
know,
I feel like it is.
I
It
know.
coming
kind of
back.
did.
Yeah.
Like,
It
I was,
Well,
I was
it's
high
on
and
its
tight
way.
on my wedding, or at least after. I had like short hair for a while, and then I brought back the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm badass.
I like
I
the
love how
hats.
it looks too. The hats
The
are.
hats were
I
super
can't.
cool.
I can't pull it off, but I
See,
like it
I
on
think
that.
a lot of
but-
guys think that they can't, but when we see them when in those hats, we're like, that looks good. Like the cowboy
My
hats
wife
really
does not.
coming back. Like Al just got
I
one
have,
because
I
they
have a
went to
really
Montana.
nice cowboy hat. A friend
Cowboy-
got us, and I was like, I
like
need.
Stetson.
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah. I was like,
Stetson.
I want to go to Zach Bryan concert.
Yeah.
somewhere like,
Yes. Well, I've been making him go out wearing them, and like he gets compliments, and like Al just kind of looks like Rip from Yellowstone, anyways.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
he has it on and the glasses, I'm like,
he could pull it off for sure.
Yeah.
big,
100%.
big fan of that.
Yeah,
Guys in hats are a good thing. A good Stetson or a good what was that hat? The Peaky Blinders,
It's
like
like paper.
Paper's boy. Yeah.
Cap.
something like that. Yeah, not the Sherlock Holmes hat.
No,
No, not that.
No.
Yeah, the Peaky Blinders hat. Okay. Third question. You are taking out of towners to dinner in St. Louis. Where are you taking them?
I'm gonna go Olive and Oak because it's right down the street from us in Webster. We go there all the time. They have awesome, like comfort food. Like the cheeseburgers,
Oh,
incredible.
Their burger
Their
is
Caesar salad
insane.
is like the best Caesar salad, and I know those are two like simple big. They're unreal.
No, but when you do simple
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
well,
And they have like different dishes that are out there. Oysters. They just have like a good range.
the
of
grilled
stuff.
octopus appetizer, did you ever have that one?
I think so.
It was
Probably.
fire.
Their cocktails are amazing. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd probably go that.
Okay.
Olive and Oak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Good
I
choice.
love that place.
I'll have to check it out.
so
Great.
good. You haven't been?
Honey, I don't go.
Yeah, you stay out here.
Well, I don't even like, we
I'll take you.
rarely go out to eat.
It's nice restaurant, but like you'll see someone in a suit, and then you'll like see someone in
See
a
someone
t-shirt.
Yeah.
wearing
Like,
this.
I would go like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah,
like,
you can dress it up or
Right.
Yeah,
and shit.
it's like
yeah.
it's as casual as you want it to be.
Yeah.
Um,
And you don't feel out of place
yeah,
no matter what your attire is.
yeah, that's a great spot.
Elaine's got the next one.
If you could do one job or wildest dream job, what would you do?
Could I say like I would love to be a series TV show?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be that. Would
So just step it up to the next level.
Yeah. And no, I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but like there's more things. There's more to like the biggest studios in the world are now in Chesterfield, Missouri, right by
Yeah,
Maryville.
I've heard
That
this.
big
And it's
studio.
Sean Monaga guy, Trey Kerr, shout out to him. Actually, is the one who made that all happen.
Yeah.
But it's right now it's for music, like Fish
Okay.
and these huge bands go there to like,
Really?
rehearse and like before they go on tour to get their everything all ready to go before they before they go
Yeah.
set up and stuff, and it is breathtaking.
Yeah.
But
So it's like in the valley?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right by Spirit of St. Louis. So like
Yeah,
even
right across
Jets
the
can
airport.
come in right there.
yeah, and they're gonna build some like nice boutique hotels in that area.
Yeah.
The same people who own that. To get like just in case like an act like Taylor Swift wants to
Yeah.
come, they can be like the airport's here, this is here, here's a
can
really
stay
nice
here.
hotel, or
Yeah.
you can stay in your truck, whatever. But so I think that has some legs in the music industry, and
Mhm.
I'm like, and the whole time we get a tour, I'm like, well, this could be like a movie studio,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he's like, this isn't any big studio. Like,
Yeah.
yes, this could be. And he's like, these are the biggest studios in the world, and I'm just like, that's so cool.
That's amazing.
And then like the show Ozark being like,
Yeah.
shout out to Jason Bateman, that's like one of my favorite shows ever.
I just started rewatching that one too.
Yeah.
So good.
So good. But I think a lot of St. Louis people are like, wait, why isn't this shot in Missouri?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
and
well,
DTF. Like
Yeah.
they're doing that in Georgia.
Georgia too.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
there's no tax cuts. There's
Right.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
reasons why. And so anyways, the state of Missouri is like, well, we're going to fix that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that, like I've already gotten more, like I've been doing the Talent Plus stuff for like
Mhm.
10 or 12 years. And I would get like 4 to 6 commercial auditions a year. And if I'm lucky, I get 1 or 2. And it's already gotten where I'm getting like 30, 40
nice.
a year. And I still only book like 1 or 2. But
Yeah, but if all
yeah,
that work starts
my
coming
point
in,
is
Yeah.
like more coming, and I've auditioned for 2 movie roles, like
Yeah.
small movies, but I'm like, this is sick. Like the
Yeah.
fact that I'm even like getting this opportunity already, like this is awesome. So I
Yeah.
feel like
so cool.
I'm hopeful that more stuff comes to St. Louis,
With
kind of like in
something
Atlanta
like
or
that,
Chicago.
I don't
I'm
see how
feeling opportunities coming your way.
opportunity and optimism.
I love the optimism, but yeah,
Yes.
it's all dumb luck. Like anything I've gotten cast for is either because they knew me and worked with me previously, like, oh, he's nice, he shows up on time, and he's not annoying. It's not like, oh, he's talented. Like no one's talented.
Whatever. Yeah,
Well,
but they're like, he's
it's-
nice, he shows up on time,
Yeah.
and he's good. He's not.
I was just watching an
I don't know,
interview with-
honestly. I really think
I-
it's just
or
like
like a clip with Will Ferrell, and when he told his dad, like, "Hey, I'm gonna try and do this. I'm gonna try and make it big," and his dad was like, "You know what? Good job. Go out and do it. I just want to tell you, like, a lot of this is just dumb luck, but like, put in the effort and do the work. But sometimes it has nothing to do with with your abilities.
Yeah.
It's just like right place, right time,
Yeah.
or whatever." And he said that took so much pressure
Mhm.
off of me that
Really?
it like really allowed me to just be like, you know
Open
what?
up.
If I get this, I get it. If I don't, not
Just
not
open
my
up
luck
more.
today.
It's
Yeah.
so
Probably
true.
project more.
like it's
Yeah.
true in like this like little Midwest and local commercials I'm
Mhm.
auditioning for, all the way to like the big movies that like guys like Will Ferrell are going.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously more talent involved with them, but it's still like at their level, like they're all talented. So it really is still kind of a crapshoot. And like
Yeah.
it's more like, oh, do you look like the character we envisioned when we wrote this role? It's more comes down to that than it does about, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's luck. It's luck. So yeah. And so anyways, I've developed very thick skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so used to being told no that I don't think anything of it. When my agent's like, hey, you can release this, I'm like, I figured. I wasn't holding my breath. And then when you get
But then when you get one,
yeah, you're like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I booked something. Sweet.
Yeah.
So I don't
There you
know.
All right.
yeah, that's awesome.
All right. This is a good one. What is your favorite STL sports moment?
Oh, when the Blues won the cup.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah,
Done.
that was an easy one.
Yep.
That was the easiest one.
Knew that was coming.
Where were you?
I was at my good friend's house who got ran over by the Bronco.
Oh, Bronco.
Bronco
I was at
guy.
Bronco guy's basement. With
Man, we gotta get Bronco guy
Yeah.
in here.
yeah,
I bet he's got some good stories.
I gotta make sure he listens or watches this,
Yeah.
and he's gonna be like, "Thank you so much for not saying my name." 'Cause he's like a successful, respected guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're in his basement with another one of my good friends from Chaminade. And then my wife and his wife. So there's like 5 of us down there, just
losing your
chilling.
minds.
We went nuts.
Yeah.
Like I almost cried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
a lot of people.
I might have.
I was gonna say, I'd kind of be surprised if you
I
didn't.
I probably did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember.
My whole family got into just like a bear hug.
Yeah.
My dad. Oh my gosh. Well, do you
Shed
know
tears.
about his tattoo? So
Oh,
What?
my
No.
dad with his best friend from high school made a pact. Like,
Yeah.
God only knows how long ago. That
Right.
if the Blues win the cup, we have to get tattoos.
No, I didn't. How the hell I don't know.
And
about
my
this.
dad, I forget about it until we go to the
Where is
pool. I
it?
see him with the shirt off. It is massive, all of his arm. And I'm like, did you guys, is your pact that you had to get a massive 10-inch
Yeah.
tattoo? Because you could have got like a subtle one. He's like, yeah, but I don't know. And
Go
so
back.
I'm gonna do it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it.
it's ridiculous.
Oh my god, I love
And
it.
it like doesn't fit him at all.
No, I can't wait till the next time I see him. Be like,
What if
lift
that's
your shirt
Yes,
up.
you
Lift
got
your
it.
shirt.
You got to see it.
Just
It's
What a
sleep.
great story.
Yeah.
Every summer when I go to my dad's pool for the first time, I just go, "Oh
You
yeah!"
forget about
I
it.
start laughing. You did that, but
Forgot
like,
about it.
and his buddy did it too, and I was like, "It's like I don't."
Same one.
Yeah.
Did they vary?
I think if not the same, they're similar.
Very similar.
It's like a big Stanley Cup with like a blue note,
Yeah.
probably like a cross hockey generic
That's
Yeah.
hockey
amazing.
thing.
It was.
Yeah,
It's
that was
amazing.
incredible,
Thank you, Jordan Bennington.
right?
I was telling
He stole that game.
Yeah.
Blue shirt,
Anna, I was up at the top of Wheelhouse
You were with Al.
and he was there and he was kind of
Oh,
like
when
over.
Bennington came in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
kind of over in the corner by himself.
Ham was
So
up there with you
I
guys
was
too,
gonna
right?
do it. And I like went over and I talked to him and it was like, you could almost see him like realizing in real time, like,
That he's a hero.
This just happened.
am not the same person I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Like,
2
I-
hours ago.
I think his Instagram, he had like 10,000, because I followed him forever.
Yeah.
I think he had 5 or 10,000 followers, and then like overnight
Yeah.
he's at like
But-
100 or
Right.
something like that.
but he
It's
was
crazy.
so amazing. He was so like, he actually did,
Unbelievable.
yeah, like sit there and
Like
conversate.
Boston played the first 2 periods. Boston kind of dominated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, he stole the game. And
Yeah.
like going back to what I was saying, like the best thing about being
Right.
a goalie is when you win a game you shouldn't. Like, he stole that game.
think
Not that the
Boston
Blues
was really
didn't deserve
great.
it. Like the team was incredible.
Yeah.
There's a million things they have
Everything
to
just
do,
was clicking.
but that game 7,
Yeah.
he was undoubtedly the MVP of that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was insane.
Great.
And because of it, I call it the Biddington effect. But as a local goalie coach,
Mhm.
after that, so many kids in St.
Oh, I'm
Louis
sure.
Yeah.
wanted to be a goalie. And I actually got the chance to meet him. And like, that's the one key thing I said to him. I was like, thanks for doing what you're doing. And I was like, as a goalie coach, I just want you to know, like, you've had a crazy impact here of
Oh.
so many kids want to be goalies because of you.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he was like, oh, you're not a complete douchebag. Because I'm sure he's come across Kane again at some point.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of like, oh, taken aback a bit by me saying that. And it was like, oh, thanks for
Yeah.
saying that. And I was like, I mean it. Like, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
The impact he's
That's
had.
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
All right. What's one personal truth or hot take you're standing on right now?
Wow.
If you don't know what this means, don't feel bad because I did not know what this means.
Like, I know what
when we
hot
first-
takes are,
Yeah.
and I know what personal truths are, but what do you mean to be standing on them? Like, what?
If it's
That's
controversial or if somebody doesn't agree, like I'm standing 10 toes down on it.
How about, I think, I'll do something like uplifting. I think people are way closer to what they're trying to attain than they realize. They
Mhm.
just don't take the jump.
Yeah.
I
We were kind of talking about that this morning, actually.
agree.
You know what I mean? So I guess what I'm saying is like, just go for
Go
it.
for it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, no one's sitting around the dinner table being like, haha, he or she failed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if they are,
Yeah.
they can go get hit
Yeah.
by a Bronco.
I like to say that fear is like the bodyguard. Like once you
Yeah.
can break through fear,
Yeah.
like there's a shit ton of opportunity on the other side of fear.
Right,
Like,
love
fear is like that bodyguard. And once
Mhm.
you're just like, nope, I'm not going to be afraid anymore.
Yeah.
You go over. It's like this
Whole new world.
whole new
Yeah.
world. And so it's like,
That's very true.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I love that.
yeah. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given or that
Or
you
that you
would
give
pass
yourself.
I've either read this or someone's told me this, and I just something I like tell my goalies, like when they're in a game, I'm like, don't think about what's gonna happen.
Yep.
Don't think about what already happened. Like, you're in the present. You're reading the current play. You're like, you know what I mean? And I think that applies to life. Like, if you're worried about the future, you're stressing out. If
Mhm.
you're stressing out about the past, like, that's damaging.
Pointless. Yeah.
Yeah, like, why?
It already happened.
And I'm not going to act like I'm not guilty of those things. We all are, and I
Sure.
was, but I think I'm getting really good at just like not caring about the past and not worrying as much about the future and trying to live in the present. And now that I'm a dad, like, it hits home so hard because I'm
Mhm.
like, I remember when you were born and you're going to be 3, and like everyone's like, I've been working with kids for so long and I talk to their parents all the time and they all say the same thing, but it's so true. They're like, you blink and it's over. Like, you
Yeah.
blink and they're driving. You
Yeah.
blink and they're moving out. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. And I never like rolled my eyes or thought, this is unsolicited advice. I don't care. I was like, no, like, I know you're right,
Yeah.
but I still have to constantly remind myself, like, live in the present.
What does Wayne say? Live in the now.
Yeah.
Do you have any tools or techniques that when you feel like you're moving towards the future or the past that like bring you back into the present moment? Like,
No, I wish I did. something.
Just probably being aware of it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think self-awareness.
Mhm.
But there's sometimes,
And,
you know, there's
locking in.
techniques
Yeah.
like breath work, or like you tell people like to try and identify like 3 of your senses, like something you can hear, something you
I
can
actually just heard that literally like yesterday or the day before.
yeah.
That one's a good
First time.
one. And we were kind of
Well, I
talking
use it
about
on
this
veterans a
morning.
lot.
Yeah.
Like if they
To
start
calm them down.
to calm down, like if they're in the car.
Recenter.
Okay.
Yeah.
The breathing thing, another thing I tell my
Yeah.
goalies, and I'm like, hey, if you're nervous, kids are like, I get nervous. I'm like, buddy, everyone does. That just means you care.
Yeah.
I'm like, the other goalie's nervous too. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, if you take deep breaths, you
Mhm.
literally physically calm your body down.
Yeah.
And your brain doesn't know what's really going on. You can trick it, and then it calms down too. And I still do that.
Yeah.
I sometimes get nervous playing beer league.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What? Like, that is Kane Van Gate, not Keith. But I just take deep breaths and I'm like, if they score, they score. But then you'd be like, but they're not gonna. And then you
Yeah.
still have, anyways. But yeah, deep breaths is something I definitely use a lot. Meditation is something I've never done.
Yeah, she's tough because I got the speedy brain. And I'm like, there's no way I could sit there. But I've always read if you start just like 1 minute at a time.
I just
It's
start-
not
yeah.
even just like clearing your mind. Do an adult coloring book or do a puzzle with your kids. And it's just like focused attention where you're not thinking about the to-do list or what you have to do later today. And it's just like it's bringing you to the present moment. That is meditation.
Then
Well, then I
do
do
it
that
all the
every day
time.
because I love my adult coloring books.
Yeah.
Love them.
That
Kids- my
is,
kid
that's a
loves
form of
puzzles.
active meditation
Yeah.
or meditation and movement.
Good. Good to know.
Yeah.
Also, like I want to get back to drawing and
Mhm.
stuff. And
You
painting.
should.
I know. It's just finding time.
It
I
is,
know,
yeah.
I know.
Like I am just so busy, and I was busy before kids, and you guys both know once you have kids, it's like you don't have free time
No.
anymore. And if you
No.
do, you're doing a housework
Right.
project or something.
And if you do take that time to sit down, at least for me, I'm like, I could be doing this and this and
I
this,
feel
but my
guilty.
body's like, I need to just sit for a second. Yeah, you
Or
feel guilty.
that. Yeah.
You're like,
Please.
I need to be doing all these things, but I also just need like 20 minutes to just like sit for a second,
I think I like
which we don't rarely do because then we feel guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so the breathing is the only thing I actively do.
Yeah.
And it totally helps. Like
Yeah.
it really does like calm things down.
Yeah, totally. Your nervous system.
Get the oxygen
Yeah.
in your brain and everything starts to slow down.
Yes.
Well, Keith, we cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
First of all, for being our first guest.
I
And
was
second of
like,
all, for even taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come and do this with us. We appreciate it more than you will ever know.
Good. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm honored to be on the show, honored to be the first one.
Yes.
I hope this is the best podcast.
Do you want to do any shout outs where people can find
Yeah,
you?
where they can follow you.
Oh yeah. Kane Van Gate 38 is my Instagram handle and YouTube channel. I'm just Kane Van Gate on TikTok. TikTok's kind of whatever to me. If you have a kid into hockey or not, make sure they subscribe. It'd be great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we'll add the link too.
Yeah,
So that,
thank you.
yeah. So that people
Seriously,
can just
it was an honor.
Thank
I
you.
was when I heard
Love
you guys
you.
doing this, I was I
Love
want to
you,
be on that
bro.
show, and
love you,
I
bro.
didn't know I'd be on the first one. I love you both too.
Yeah, no, this worked out perfectly. So everyone, Kane Van Gate, Keith Van Gels, check him out. We're so happy he could be here today.
Peace out.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.